Hey everybody, I'm Brian with Knox Company, and I'm going to show you step by step how I mounted this universal RAM mount into my 4Runner. If you have a 4Runner, you're probably like me and you cannot find the perfect car mount that's durable for off-road or even just driving around town. So I'm going to show you step by step on how I installed this, everything you need, whatever you need to buy online or at the store. I'll walk you through it. Super easy, should be a really quick install. Let's go. So I decided to get one of these RAM mounts. One of the reasons that I went with this RAM mount is because I had a motorcycle. It was probably one of the best mounts that I could have for that motorcycle. It was a Harley Davidson, like Street Glide or Road Glide. But this was one of the best mounts that I had. All the guys were using them, so I finally got one. But it uses this 1-inch ball pivot system that you can clamp down. And then with that, you can actually get the ball to mount either on your handlebars, or in this case we're going to be using a mount that actually goes onto the dash. So I am going to be opening up the dash and I'll show you exactly how we do that. It's really easy, but there's a couple different locations that you can put it, and I'll show you where we put ours, but I've seen some other ones and I'll point them out as we go. But this is the mount. There is a link in the description for it. You can get them off Amazon. I think it was here in a day or two. This is the medium size X grip. You can get the extra large, but even this medium size X grip fits like the new iPhone 12 Pro Maxes. I think it fits the 13 Maxes and everything. Most of the phones out there, but if you're worried because your phone's big, I'd get the large version of the X grip. But this one's the medium one and it works for almost everything. I'll also put a link for the female ball end that we're going to be mounting on here too. That female ball end looks like this, and it has the threads in the back. One of the most important things is that you get a -20 pitch screw. It does not come with the screw for this, so you will probably have to go to the store or order it. I'll put a link for those also, but I was able to go to the store and actually just find them in the machine screw section. I'll show you guys where I found them. They're like, it was like 12 cents or 22 cents or something like that for the screw and a washer. And I'm also going to be doing some Loctite on there as well, just as a little safety precaution to make sure it doesn't vibrate loose later. I don't want to be going back in the dash and having to tighten it back up. So these are the parts that we'll need. You'll need a drill with like a couple different size drill bits, and you'll need a 10mm socket. That's it. So let's go. So we will be removing this whole part of the dash, the lower and the upper. The lower part just pops out, and I'll show you how that comes out easily. Just some clips, and then we'll have to unplug a wire. And then in the back of this top unit, we'll actually have to do a couple 10mm screws. I'm thinking about mounting it right here on top, just so that I have the clearance for that arm to come off. But I've seen a lot of people mount it right here on the inside. The only problem with that is that it kind of puts this arm right behind your steering wheel, and I don't know if I like that. But you can still get that X grip here, so I think it's just preference. But once we open up this dash, I'm going to see if there's enough clearance in here to get the screw on from the inside, or if I have to go in from the side. Either way, it should be good because you can actually extend that arm out. But we're going to be mounting this right there by pulling off the dash and going inside and putting the screw in. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to pull this part of the dash off. And what I found is that this whole piece comes with it, that you will pull so hard right here, it will not pop. But if you squeeze and push up here, put some pressure right here, it'll pop out like that. And then we do the same thing the other side. And that clip up here, by pushing in right here and right here, it lets you pull it off. And then this just comes right out. And then right here, we'll have this little plug that we'll remove, and then we can actually take this whole piece out. So looking at this piece now, we're gonna remove this little clip, which is holding our cable, and then we'll pull that plug out, and then we can set this off to the side. And this comes out really easy because you can actually pinch these and it comes through. And then this plug, same thing, you just pull it right out. Then we can take this whole bottom piece and actually set it off here to the side. Now that we have that part of the dash off, this is where that 10mm comes in. We're going to remove these 4 screws, and then we can pull this top head unit off. So what I found is grabbing from underneath here and giving some support up here, you can pull it off to get those clips out. So for this top head unit, we have those tabs in the bottom in all 4 corners. And then we have our wiring harness back there for the radio and CD player and everything. So we're not gonna even mess with that. We're just gonna start looking for clearance on the back side of here to see if there's enough space on why they would mount it here versus here, but I think I can already tell. So looking at this, I can see on the inside right here, there's these little grooves and tabs, so that if you try to mount it on top, you wouldn't be able to secure the screw flat, whereas right here, you can see it's nice and flat right there. So I see why a lot of guys are mounting it right here, because you can actually secure it flat, and the screw on the inside, that screw head, is gonna sit flat. You can also maybe mount it right here, because there are some flat parts that you can fit a screw so that it would sit flat right there. It just kind of depends on your preference on how you want this mount to sit. So these are the screws. The 5/8 is what I actually found would fit all the way into the ram mount ball head, and it screws all the way down without leaving too much space so that you can actually tighten it down onto the dash. So I would recommend getting the 5/8, and you see how it says 1/4 inch -20. That's what you need, is that -20 pitch. It'll thread in nice and smooth. So now we can take this and kind of play with, you know, doing it here or having it come out this way, which this might be the best way just to keep it simple. But we'll see if maybe we can mount it here in the middle and have that ram mount right in the middle. So after seeing the inside of here, I know why everybody's mounting them on the sides. It's because that's a only smooth surface. It's the only way that you're gonna get this part to actually screw down and secure properly on the inside without all the plastic in here interfering. You could shave down that plastic and create a flat surface, but that's gonna involve unplugging all those wires, taking this out probably to the garage, chiseling or removing all that stuff, and then creating that flat surface so that this can secure on the inside properly. But after everything, I'm probably just gonna be mounting it here on the side, and then I'll be getting a shorter arm for this. This is the medium arm, it's a 3-inch arm. They actually have a 1-inch arm, which they call their small arm. So I was able to actually order this small arm and have it same day delivered before 5 o'clock, so that's pretty cool. I'll put a link for the 1-inch arm, and I'll also put a link for this combo. But it looks like we're gonna be mounting it here. I put a little mark where we're gonna have that clearance, and let's go ahead and drill the hole and start securing this thing. I'll start by drilling a pilot hole. So I started out with the 7/32, and that was way too small. I went up to the 15/64, and that was, you couldn't even really thread it through. So I had to go straight to the 1/4 inch, which makes sense because it is a 1/4 inch screw. But just in case I could get a little bit of give, I wanted to keep it as tight as possible to make sure that we had enough surface to pull through or to pull up against. So this 1/4 inch goes perfectly in there so we can feed that from the inside. I'll put some Loctite on there, and then we'll screw down that ball joint. So we have the screw fed through right there, and then I'm gonna use some of this Loctite just as an added precaution. I haven't seen anybody else do this, but I just went with the removable. That way I get a secure hold, but if for some reason I do want to get it undone, I'm not gonna end up breaking apart this dash. It will be able to be taken off. So I would use this if you're gonna be using any of it. I would not use the permanent, I'd use the removable. Again, I'll put a link for this in the description if you just want to have it shipped to your house, but this is what I'll be using here. And there we have it. All the hard work is done. We got this thing mounted on there. It is super stable and strong. All we have to do is pop this dash back in and then put the mount on. And then also, just to show you guys a little bit more about what I'm talking about, when you look on the inside here, this screw sits flush, and I did put a little lock washer on there too. I'm just kind of, I don't ever want to have to go back in here and tighten it up or worry about this thing coming loose. But if you want to mount it on the top, there's these little louvers there you got to remove. There is some flat surface right here underneath in the center, but again, you would have to kind of play with finding a flat spot, and then you would have your mount right in the middle of the dash. But this seems to be the go-to spot, and it's really easy to get to. You don't have to take apart any of this other dash to get in to any of these other flat surfaces. It literally took me less than 5 minutes to get in here and do this. Longest part was just trying to film it, but now you guys can kind of see what to expect on the inside, and you can get this mounted right there. It also keeps it off to the side here, which keeps it out of the sun maybe a little bit, but that seems to be the right spot for it. We'll mount this dash back up, and then we'll see how it looks. So this went right back up really easy. You can see the mount here off to the side. All we have to do is put this plug back in, like that. Like that. And then we can just push this right back in. So there we have it. Dash is all back together, and we have our RAM mount here now. Super strong. I mean, you can barely even get any type of movement out of it, but that's definitely not coming off. Now, I have seen other people put this on with a different base where they use 3M tape. We all know how that can go in the sun depending on where you live. We are here in Vegas, and that 3M tape will last about 10 minutes out in the sun in the summertime. So that's why I decided to go with this type of mount, to be able to make it really secure and almost semi-permanent. But I did not want to be messing around with any type of adhesives or tape on here. Does mean you do have to drill a little hole, but I mean, it's a 1/4 inch hole. If you really wanted to remove this later on, you could patch that up or cover it with something, but it is kind of out of the way too, so it's not really obstructing up here. Doesn't look too bad right here, but it really serves a good purpose, and it's going to be a really secure mount. So after messing around with it for a little bit, I think for now, while I have this long arm, I'm going to be able to kind of keep it up and over to the right. You can hold your phone vertically or horizontally, obviously. And then when I get that shorter arm, this will actually just keep my phone a little bit further back, so that way there's no interference with the steering wheel. But this is probably one of the most sturdiest, secure mounts. It's pretty versatile. You can also get a lot of other different attachments for this. So if you want to still use the RAM mount systems, you can get different type of phone mounts. I believe they also have different modifications that you can do with this to be able to get like phone charging, tablet holders. You can do a combination of arms if you want to really move it. You can branch off of it, but by creating this secure point, this 1-inch ball, it creates a whole open window of different things that you can do. So I really like it. We're happy with the way it looks, and we finally found a mount that will work and will hold the phone safely. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I wanted to give you a real detailed inside look on what is in the dash. I'd seen other videos like this trying to install these, and I didn't know why they wouldn't put it there. Now you can see what's inside the dash and what to expect if you guys want to install something like this. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe. I make lots of videos on the 4Runner. I have the LED lights, the wheels and tires, the lift kit. I have this storage rack in the back where you can actually put this modular system over the windows. I've done all kinds of little things with the vehicle, even how to change the cabin air filter. So find those videos on my channel. I'll put a couple of them right here. And hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next build.